What is up, you guys? Pete DiCarlo here, and today we're going to be talking about BCLI, or the company Brainstorm Cell Therapeutics. This is a company that I invested in not too long ago. I made almost 40% returns in just 2 days off of their earnings. You can see this was the move right here, and I did end up selling. Even though I planned on it to be a long-term investment, I knew that 40% in just a couple days was a good way and reason to sell, and actually it ended up selling off very, very aggressively from the time that I got out, close to 47% in 44 days. We're going to go over why that happened. We're going to go over where I see BCLI going in the next couple of weeks and years, and would I be buying back into BCLI, as well as kind of quickly going over what this company does and going over their financials. Hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and let's get started. So what I like to use if I'm doing a quick technical or a quick fundamental analysis is Morningstar. I have no affiliation with them, but Morningstar is a great website if you're just quickly trying to find some undervalued companies, getting an idea of what the company does, how they make money, taking a quick look at their financials, and then deciding, hey, is this something I want to shelf and not look at any further, or do I want to do some more research on my own? And so BCLI is a company I came across about 6 or 7 months ago, but I felt like it was extremely overvalued. And I feel at this price, we're at a really good price to take a risk. I wish I would have hit it, down at 3 something a couple of days ago, but I really wasn't keeping an eye on it like I should have. Well, let's take a look. So Brainstorm Cell Therapeutics is a biotech company. The company is developing novel adult stem cell therapies for debilitating neurodegenerative disorders such as ALS and Lou Gehrig's disease, progressive multiple sclerosis, and Parkinson's disease. Brainstorm's NeuroOwn is their proprietary process for the propagation of mesenchymal stem cells, or MSC, is the differentiation into neurotropic factors secreting cells, and their transplants at or near the large site of the damaged part of the brain offers hope for a more effective treating of neurodegenerative diseases. So essentially, it's a stem cell company that focuses on neurodegenerative diseases like Lou Gehrig's and ALS. So obviously, the very first thing that I think of when I started looking at this company is this company has to be extremely volatile. Biopharm, most of them end up going nowhere or never really breaking out and becoming the companies that they think they will. What happens with these types of companies most of the time is they get big pumps on FDA approval, and then the FDA approval doesn't end up going through. We'll talk about that because that's something that's important as far as this is considered, because the way that the FDA approval process happens is in Europe and other countries, it's pretty easy to get things FDA approved. And so what happens is a lot of people say like, oh, this drug or, this type of, machine that's used, like a lot of times equipment that they try to use for surgeries, this is becoming FDA approved, or this drug's becoming FDA approved, or this stem cell technique is becoming FDA approved in these different countries. And then maybe they'll get first stage FDA approval in the US, stock will rip. Second stage FDA approval in the US, stock will rip. And then we'll talk about that a little bit more further. Now, very quickly, Morningstar does have a fair value on this company at $6.93, so we'll call it $7. And BCLI is trading right now at $4.30, a 5-star price, which to them is the absolute best price you could get this stock for. They'd be buying it up heavy. You can see is at $2.25, and we actually hit $2.95 at one point last week. So overall, I do agree with them that it is under the fair value, but I do think that there is an inherent amount of risk to come along with this potential move just back up to fair value. Now, taking a look at their competitors very quickly, you have BCLI, which is Brainstorm Cell Therapeutics. You have Pluristem Therapeutics, which is also trading severely under its fair value, and Oncovo Therapeutics, which as well is trading under its fair value. So if we look very quickly at the competitors, it seems like this entire sector is trading heavily under its fair value. But once again, they're all extremely volatile. Now, if we take a look at the financials, which obviously I didn't go over the dividends or the stock analysis like that, but obviously there is no dividend for this stock. And and the PE ratio is non-existent. If we take a look at the revenue, you can see that we have a huge loss each and every year. Biopharm companies always take pretty heavy losses. In 2015, we have $5 million loss, 2018, $14 million loss, 2019, $23 million loss, and the past trailing 12 months, a $27 million loss. If we take a look at the balance sheet, you can see total assets, $51 million, total liabilities, $15.8 million, total debt, $7 million, total equity, $35 million, and in cash and cash equivalents, we have $41 million. So assets to liability isn't the worst, but the fact that they're burning so much money year after year is obviously not the best sign. But when you're going to be investing in something this volatile, especially a biopharm company that's revolved around stem cells, you're going to be taking an insane amount of risk, and this financials are not going to look sexy. As well, I'm also going to be doing a fundamental analysis kind of video series within this channel in the next couple of weeks, going over how I break down companies and how I deep dive companies, going over actually reading fundamentals and financials, how the business makes money, going over income statements, balance sheets, risk tolerance, fair value, finding growth companies, how I find them, selling puts, all those different types of things. So I'm really going to be putting out a lot of videos based around that. And so quickly looking at why the stock has faded. So to give you a brief understanding of it before you guys want to do a little bit more research on yourself, they're a stem cell neurodegenerative therapeutics company that's burning a ton of cash, but I believe they have huge potential upside within the next 5 to 10 years. If they can do the things that they say and want that they can do. You have to realize this is not a short-term trade for me. This would be a very long-term investment that, if it did obviously move from $4 up to about $15, $16, I'd be taking some profits off of it. I'd be selling about half of my position. But overall, you can see that we get these massive drops, right? Big push down right here, big gap down, most recent gap down, and the same thing for the way up. And a lot of this has to do with FDA approval. And like I said before, they get a lot of hype and a lot of dishype to the opposite side. So if we take a look at this most recent article on February 22nd, this is when the stock took that major hit. Brainstorm announces high-level FDA feedback on the Neuron ALS clinical development program. And like we said earlier, Neuron is their kind of like cream of the crop product slash, drug and type, and you guys know what I'm talking about. The cream of the crop as it comes to this company and what they do. Now, the biggest thing is it seems like FDA approval is not going to be within the near future. So BCLI, a leading developer of adult stem cell therapies for neurodegenerative diseases, announced today that it has recently met with their senior leadership team from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA. They received FDA feedback on a high-level data summary from Neuron. Let's see, ALS phase 3 clinical trials. So phase 3 is hard to get. Like I said before, phase 1, phase 2, usually not that hard. The FDA had concluded from their initial review that the current level of clinical data does not provide the threshold of substantial evidence that the FDA is seeking for to support a biologic license application. In addition, the FDA advised that this recommendation does not preclude Brainstorm for proceeding with a BLI submission. So they didn't initially get denied, just their lead member who met with the FDA basically said that very quickly looking at Neuron, it doesn't seem like you're going to be able to get that biologics license application in order to get this FDA approved, which doesn't mean that it's never going to be FDA approved or that it can't be FDA approved. Like, they can still go ahead with the BLA submission, but it just doesn't seem like that's going to go through, which obviously sent the stock plummeting and getting this price back down to the $3 range. Now, for me personally, anything under 4, I'd really be buying this thing up heavy, and I'm only going to invest in this what I am willing to lose entirely. So for me, probably start a position with $3,000 and then add in, if it continues to fall, up to maybe the heights of $5,000 to $7,000 depending on the price that it gets. And I really think that this could be a 10x return on my investment within the next 10 years. But like I said before, I really wouldn't be surprised if this ends up not being a 10x investment and I lose half to maybe all of my money. But I wanted to share that with you guys today because It's an extremely risky investment, but it's something that I think is extremely undervalued. Thank you guys for all the support. Hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. Let me know what you think. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.